Good morning, students. Welcome back to online classes of Gopalaswamy High School, Mysore. Today, I'm going to discuss 10th standard, second chapter, political science, that is Indian foreign policy. Today, we are going to study Indian foreign policy. So, Indian foreign policy, when we talk of Indian foreign policy, it is but natural that the name Indian foreign policy always goes with the name of Jawaharlal Nehru. This is for the simple reason that it was Nehru who was responsible in many ways to frame Indian foreign policy. Because the moment he became the Prime Minister, he also became the Minister for Indian External Affairs. He handled the External Affairs Ministry very efficiently, and he was responsible for adding so many items, so many issues, so many points to Indian foreign policy. That is the reason why we always say that Nehru is the architect of Indian foreign policy. So now today let us discuss what are the aims of Indian foreign policy and what are the basic aspects of Indian foreign policy. So now I am going to discuss one by one, that is the aims of Indian foreign policy. To start with, we have the following 5 important aims in Indian foreign policy. That is national security, enrich national economy, spreading cultural richness of our country, increase number of friendly countries, and check enemy power, world peace and coexistence. These are the 5 important aims of our Indian foreign policy. One by one, I'll explain in detail. To start with, national security. When we make friendship with other countries, we have to take care of our country's interest also. We cannot sacrifice our national interest and go for a relation with other country. See, we had a very good relationship with China for so many years. There was trade relationship. There was exchange of so many items and all that. But you know what China did? China has illegally occupied a portion of Arunachal Pradesh. Very recently, you must have seen in newspapers, or you must have read, you must have seen even in TV or so, that Indian land was occupied, especially in Leh provinces. Okay, and Indian soldiers were killed, and Indian soldiers were tortured by Chinese troops. This was a most inhuman action done by our neighboring nation. So when such incidents happen, we cannot keep quiet. We have to show our resistance. We have to show our power, that we are always aware. In the same way, in Pakistan also, how many times Pakistan has occupied Indian territory? We have fought more than 3 to 4 wars with them. Kargil war, okay, recently Pulwama attack. So now and then Pakistan keeps on attacking our land. It crosses it enters Indian borders and keeps troubling us always. When we have such neighbors, so our duty becomes, or our interest should not be sacrificed. So that reason, the national security, that means Rashtriya Surakshate, Namma Deshavanna Kapadodu Namma Parama Uddesha, the most important aspect in Indian foreign policy. That is the first aim. Second one is enriching our national economy. When we make friendship with any other nation, naturally, we invite them to invest in India, and we exchange. There will be naturally bilateral tax. Bilateral tax talks means we have certain agreements, trade agreements, mutual cooperation agreements, and such and so on and so forth. So that is how, when we make friendship with, for example, when we make friendship with Japan, we are going to get so many technology technical know-how or technology from China. We import those things. At the same time, we add those things to our setup. And finally, we are going to enrich our economy. ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಅರ್ಥವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೋ ದೇಶದ ಒಂದು ಪದಾರ್ಥ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಗೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಎರಡನೇ ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ enriching national economy. Third one, spreading cultural richness of our country. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಮಹಿಮೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಡೋದು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, we have wonderful music in India, wonderful literature in India, cinemas we have, okay, so many other items related to our culture. Okay, those things should be spread to other nations. And people have in other countries, India has lot of respect. Okay, best example is yesterday's Ram Mandir Bhumi Puja. In almost all the countries, this except a few countries in Muslim countries, but in almost all the countries, people celebrated the Bhumi Puja of Ayodhya, Bhumi Puja of Ram Mandir, because Rama is a cultural identity for so many people. People from different faith worship Rama. Okay, this is how in Indonesia and Thailand, Ramayana is done through the form of dance, ballet. ರಾಮಾಯಣ ಮಹಾಭಾರತವನ್ನ ನಮಗಿಂತ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆ ಮೂಲಕ ಇಂಡೋನೇಷ್ಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಥೈಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೃತ್ಯದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ದಿಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ should go to other countries. Okay, and fourth point is increase number of friendly countries. At the same time, check the enemy power. When we have lot of friends, naturally the enemy will be very, very careful. Our enemies will think twice before attacking our nation. So the best example I can give you in this is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is the only Prime Minister in India who has traveled so many nations and has had wonderful diplomatic talks with the heads of the nation, and he has made friendship with most of the nations. And today, if there is any problem to India, I think most of the nations will come to our help. This is how what is known as increase the number of friendly countries and check enemy power. Okay, any nation before attacking or before giving trouble to our, except our Pakistan, okay, the rest of the nations is always behind our nation. Now, the last one is very simple, that is the world peace and coexistence. Ultimate aim of any policy in the world is to achieve world peace. Everybody should live peacefully and happily together. Coexistence and world peace, these always go together. So this is the fifth aim of Indian foreign policy. So with this, students, we go to the next part of Indian foreign policy, that is the basic aspect of Indian foreign policy. Basic aspect of Indian foreign policy. ನಮ್ಮ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ, ವಿದೇಶಾಂಗ ನೀತಿಯನ್ನ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಮೂಲಭೂತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲವು ಅಂಶಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿದಾವೆ. ಅದನ್ನ we are going to discuss now. Okay now? So that is the number one is Panchashila. Again, we may have to recall. We must recall Nehru here. It was Nehru who framed this Panchashila. It was in 1954, both India and China accepted Panchashila principle to foster the international relationship. Okay, in 1954, it was the Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai and the Indian Prime Minister, okay, who came forward and they signed this agreement. So to develop very good relationship, international relationship, okay, and let us discuss which are the 5 principles of Panchashila, right? Panchashila has 5 principles, you see. Number 1 is respecting each other's sovereignty and regional interest. It's a very simple thing. I'll explain what it is. Respecting, ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸೋದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ? ಆ ದೇಶದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ ದೇಶದ ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಟೆರಿಟರಿ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟವಾದ ಭೂಪಟ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗೌರವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಇದು ನಿನ್ ಜಾಗ ಅಪ್ಪ, ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್, ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನೆವರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್. ಅವ್ರ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗೌರವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರು ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಏನೋ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆ ಅವ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆದಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅವ್ರ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಅವ್ರ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ನ ಎನ್ಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಗ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನೋ ಕಿತಾಪತಿ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಹೌದಾ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ when we talk about the relationship between two countries, it applies the same. What is that? We must respect their territory and they must respect our territory. But it is not happening with Pakistan. Pakistan now and then keeps on entering our land and troubles us. Okay, and recently, yesterday, I think yesterday there was a report in the TV that Pakistan has taken some portions of Kashmir and Gujarat in its map. ತನ್ನ ಭೂಪಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರವನ್ನ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್, ದಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ. ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಯು ಆರ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್, you are creating more enmity between nation and nation. So Pakistan is doing all sort of things so that we will not live in peace. Okay, ಎರಡನೇದು ನಾನ್ ಇನ್ವೇಷನ್. ಬೇರೆಯವರ ಜಾಗವನ್ನ ಪಕ್ಕದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗಳು ಅದೆಷ್ಟೇ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತವಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಬಡ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ವೀಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಭೂಪ್ರದೇಶವನ್ನ, ಹೌದಾ, ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಇನ್ವೇಷನ್. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ವೇಡ್. It does not apply to Pakistan. It does not apply to China. Now and then they keep on troubling us and they enter Indian land, Indian borders and claim it as theirs. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಇದು ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಜಾಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. This is what they have been doing. But in our Indian foreign policy, we have strictly followed that. ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡಿ ಇತಿಹಾಸದ ಪುಟಗಳನ್ನ, it is such a wonderful thing that India has never occupied any foreign land. ಯಾವ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶದ ಮೇಲೆ ದಂಡೆತ್ತಿ ಹೋಗೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶದ ಜಾಗವನ್ನ ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಯಾವುದೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಾರತದ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫಾರಿನರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಭಾರತದ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ, ಯಾವಾಗಿಂದ? ಮಂಗೋಲಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಹನ್ಸ್, ಶಕಾಸ್, ಮೊಘಲ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದೇಶಿಯರು ಬಂದು, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲೆಕ್ಸಾಂಡರ್, ಓಕೆ, ಬಂದು ಭಾರತದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೆವರ್ ಡನ್ ಸಚ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಟುಡೇ, so the second point is non-invasion. Non-invasion means we are not going to occupy, invade anybody. The third point in this is non-interference in internal issues. ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶದ ವ್ಯವಹಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಗು ಹಾಕೋದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋಲ್ಲ. We will never poke our nose to their affairs. What they do in Pakistan, whether they do worship any god or do namaz or whatever it is, we will never question. On the other hand, Pakistan always pokes its nose in Indian affairs. ಬೇರೆಯವರು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ವ್ಯವಹಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮೂಗು ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 371 ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ವಿಶೇಷ ಸ್ಥಾನಮಾನ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಡ್ 1 year ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಕಿತ್ತಾಕೋದು 1 year ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೂಗಾಟ ಆಯ್ತು ಗೊತ್ತೋ, ಇದು ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದೊಳಗ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ್. Pakistan has to take care of its nation. Pakistan has to worry about people of Pakistan, not of Indians, right? So this is what non-interference in internal issues. Third one is mutual cooperation and respect. We have to, whenever there is a problem in Pakistan, we have to go and help them and respect their religion, respect their culture, whatever it is. Okay? So ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್, ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ when Gujarat was Gujarat witnessed a severe earthquake, Pakistan was the first country to send its help through, through the aircrafts. ವಿಮಾನಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಸುಮಾರು ಲಕ್ಷ ಬೆಲೆ ಬಾಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರಗ್ಗುಗಳನ್ನಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅತ್ಯವಶ್ಯಕವಾಗಿ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಭಾರತಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಅವರ್ ನೇಬರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಫಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್. ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಇದು ಬೇರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್. And the last one is peaceful coexistence. Last one is peaceful coexistence. ಶಾಂತಿಯಿಂದ ಬಾಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಈ ಪಂಚಶೀಲ ತತ್ವಗಳು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ನೌ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ. Panchashila we have discussed. Now non-alignment. Second point is non-alignment. What is non-alignment? Non-alignment is a policy followed by India. What is this? You know, I have to tell you a little bit of history now. See, after Second World War, what happened was the entire world became two power blocks. ಇಡೀ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಎರಡು ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ಏನಂತ? ಒಂದು ಬಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಬಣ. We call it power blocks. One power blocks was headed by America, that is USA, and another was headed by Russia, that is USSR. You know that these two nations have different ideology, political ideology. You know, America is a democratic nation, Russia is a communist nation. So naturally, they don't agree with each other. There was severe enmity between these two blocks. So here what happened was, after the Second World War, when there was a division of power block, most of the nations of the world, either they joined American bloc or Russian bloc. Okay? But India never joined any of the power blocks. It maintained equal distance with both Russia and America. Okay? This is what is known as non-aligned. Very simple definition is not to join any power blocks of the world is the policy followed by India. That is what is known as non-alignment, right? I have told you very simply. Now, next is anti-imperialism. India does not support imperialism. In Bandung Conference, India declared that no corner of the world shall have imperialism. Now, let us try to know what is imperialism. ಇಂಪೀರಿಯಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯಶಾಹಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಒನ್ ನೇಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಅದರ್ ನೇಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್. ಒಂದು ದೇಶ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದರ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ತನ್ನ ಪತಾಕೆಯನ್ನ ಹಾರಿಸೋದು ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯಶಾಹಿವಾದ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ವಾಸ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಕೇಮ್ ಎ ಕಾಲೋನಿ ಆಫ್ British. And naturally we say British as imperial nations, right? So we don't approve of that. We will never support any nation occupying other nation, right? This is what is known as anti-imperialism, right? Next is anti-apartheid. Anti-apartheid. What is this apartheid? Apartheid is the racial discrimination policy followed in South Africa for many years. For more than 300 years. You know, South Africa is a country which is where you have government ruled by white minority, but majority of the people are black. So this discrimination between black and white is what is known as apartheid. In South Africa, the whites ruled the country, but they did not give rights of vote to the black. So there was a big revolution. There was a big fight between the black and the white. And you know, the leader of this movement was Nelson Mandela, who headed African National Congress. And he was in jail for 27 years. Such a great man he is, right? So after living for 27 years, he was able to remove this apartheid from South Africa, and because of his fight, because of the revolt of the ANC, African National Congress, everything was restored. That means the black people who are treated as second-grade citizens, they were given voting rights, and even our Gandhiji also, Mahatma Gandhiji also went and opposed this in South Africa, and that's why Gandhi is treated as a great person in South Africa even now, right? So that is another story, children. So apartheid means opposing racial discrimination. We will never tolerate anybody treating somebody, that is discrimination based on color or skin. We will never accept. So that is also one of the policy followed in Indian foreign policy, right? The last point in this topic is the disarmament. Disarmament means elimination of specific arms step by step. Every nation, in the world is equipped with deadly weapons. ಈಗ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಬಹಳ ಅಪಾಯಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಬಾಂಬ್ಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಶಸ್ತ್ರಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳನ್ನ ಶೇಖರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್. Okay, this is going to trouble the humanity one day. Okay, so some of the bombs, some of the arms and ammunitions which should not be used, they are using that. Okay, that is, the best example is we have seen Hiroshima and Nagasaki, what happened in Second World War when bomb was thrown on these two cities of Japan. Even now, the impact of bomb is there in these two cities. So this is the reason why we don't support nuclear weapons or nuclear technology to be used in wars or to be used in arms and ammunitions. Okay, what is the policy followed by India? We are for total disarmament, and we want atomic energy to be used for peaceful purposes. ಅಣುಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಶಾಂತಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಮಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಶಸ್ತ್ರೀಕರಣ, ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅಪಾಯಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಸ್ತ್ರಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸದೇ ಇರುವುದು ನಿಶಸ್ತ್ರೀಕರಣ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ನೋ, what is disarmament, the meaning of disarmament. And last point is, in our I think in Indian Constitution, in Article 51, we discuss about the foreign policy. Nam deshada ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ Article 51, we in detail we have made provision to discuss about the Indian foreign policy. Okay, in total I tell you, the entire theme of Indian foreign policy lies in one aspect, that is international peace and cooperation. ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಶಾಂತಿಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಹಬಾಳ್ವೆಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್, ಆರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ. ಸೊ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ದಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ political science of 10th standard Indian foreign policy. Thank you, children.